We love you, and God loves you so much, so much. Thank you for being here today and worshiping with us. We are family here at Word of Life. So welcome home, church.
Father, I just thank you for this time, and I ask your blessing upon our time. Lord, help me, Lord, to say what you want me to say tonight. We love you, and we praise you, and we bless you in Jesus' name. Well, our first question is, who are you living with? That's a question that we all need to answer. So my title really is Knowing Who You Are Living With. You may think you know that person or persons, if you have children and still at home with you in the house, but you can't understand why they act or even react the way they do many times. You may seem to agitate each other or clash at times. I'm talking about personalities and temperaments. I grew up in a family with a mom and a dad and 9 brothers and sisters, and we were all identical, everyone exactly the same in the household. I'm just kidding. We were not at all like, we used to fight, some of us. But anyway, I taught for over 30 years in a school with around 30 other teachers and administrators, and we were all different. Plus all the students that we had in that building through all those years, many years, none of them were the same, and it was exciting along the way to see the different personalities and to work with them. I don't know how many may be in your family that you're now living with, but it would be good to know, just like Pastor Tom said, it'd be good to know their temperaments. Maybe you're a young married couple. How many would consider themselves a young married couple? Raise your hand. Oh, yeah, right. Velocities, they're young married. I didn't say shorter. I said younger.
Anniversary today, Pastor Kurt.
Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. What's your names again? Ron and Ronette. God bless you guys. I don't know how many are in your family. Like I was saying before, it'd be good to know their temperament, but maybe you're a young couple like them. Things you may be running into in your new relationship. You see, after the honeymoon, you get together, dating's one thing, but getting married is another thing entirely. Because when you're dating, you're always on your best. You're always doing everything right, saying the right things, because you want to win over that other person and you don't want to blow it. So finally, when you get married, everything changes. Everybody gets to be themselves just the way they really are. And that's when things start to show up in your relationship. I can't say that that happened to us because Paul and I were perfect from the very beginning. That's why she said one time, she called her mother and said, I think I made a mistake marrying him. But anyway, her mother straightened her out, and then I punched her. That took care of it. There's still time to correct things if you're a young married couple. But the best scenario is if you're a single woman looking for an eligible, wonderful man. If you're looking for that, this is a good time to learn about the temperaments. Or maybe you're a single man looking for a beautiful woman who's they're going to be the apple of your eye. Well, looks aren't everything. You better find out what the temperament is. I can remember dating this one girl. She was an airplane stewardess. In those days, airplane stewardess just didn't have to be nice and give you food. They had to look like something. That's just what it was in those days. Well, anyway, I dated this girl, and boy, I sure found that. Whew. All it took was one night with her, and I thought, this is the end of that. We dated, then at the end of the evening, I said, bye. I drove off thinking, wow, looks aren't everything. Well, things can be revealed now while you're dating before you get married because there's a lot of adjustments that have to be made after the marriage. I've counseled many married couples who wish that they had had premarital counseling before they got married. Because when we talk to them about the temperaments and then the 5 love languages, they go, wow, we should have learned this stuff before we got married and before we're having the problems. That's why we're in your office. So Pastor Tom has asked me to go over this information again. It's always my pleasure to do so. Temperament is what a person is most of the time. Temperament represents the way a person relates to others and responds at different events. It is what you have observed and expect someone's behavior to be like most of the time because you know their personality. Exceptions being strong emotions, anger, and fear change the temperament. The temperament can be, you can live with it, but all of a sudden when those type of things happen in a relationship for whatever reason, an accident or whatever, the temperament sometimes, the other end of the temperament begins to show up, the bad part of it. Temperament is a force within a person. There are various traits that we all have, and there are 4 temperaments we're going to talk about, and we all have a little bit of each. And there are tendencies that happen, say like, I'm a beaver, and since I'm a beaver, there are certain things that happen when I'm dealing with things. And there's like an urge, an empty spot within me. Something will happen, I'll be talking to someone, and then something will happen by something that they say, and I immediately I have a response that automatically just whoop, comes out of my head, and I'm responding in a certain way because of the temperament that I have. Well, it's just like you're hungry. If you use this as an example, you need something to eat. And once you eat, you have filled that void and you're not hungry anymore. Well, that's the same thing with the temperaments. When you're acting and reacting with someone, that little void, that little spot that happens, it's something that you have to do. And if you don't do it, you don't feel right about yourself, and you think, I should have said something, I wanted to say something, or you said something and put your foot in your mouth. Anyway, that's what that temperament is. That's that urge that we have. There are those who are natural people to people. Pastor Tom knows a couple of them. Every morning when he looks in the mirror, he sees one. They enjoy being with or around or just standing by others. They love that. Conversely, there are those who are private in nature and prefer not to be with others around them all the time because it might agitate them or get them nervous. Both are normal, and both have a push inside to actually act according to their natural tendency. You can pull Pastor Tom away from the crowd of people, but he's not going to like it because he feels better with that crowd of people talking, laughing, having a good time. And if I want to talk to him about something serious and I pull him away, he'll tolerate it. But that'll be about it because he wants to get back to having fun. That's an otter. By the way, Pastor Tom's an otter. By this, we see temperament represents a reactionary, inherent need that we have that comes up out of ourselves. If those needs are not met, sometimes we don't function effectively with other people. A temperament need is important and highly desirable in the core of an individual. And need is a drive that urges one to behave in a manner until it's fulfilled. The desire and drive to meeting that temperament need is critical for a person feeling good about themselves. Everyone should provide or have adequate satisfaction for their temperament needs. So when you get married, and you might clash with the person that you're with because your temperament might be pretty different. A lion needs to see quick responses. An otter needs to be with people. A golden retriever, my wife and Pastor Sheldon, need a stable environment, and beavers need a detailed plan. So those are just some differences about temperaments. Frequently asked questions. Where do we get our temperament? Well, there's two methods. One, some believe that people start out in life as a blank slate and that the environment determines their personality. I don't believe that. Number two, temperament is inborn. A person is born with a basic personality type, and that inherent traits are developed according to a person's response to the environment. Now, I had 9 brothers and sisters. We were all different. If you ask any woman who's had at least 2 children, ask her what their kids were like when they were little, and they'll make statements like they were different from the start. One was very happy when other people came around, and one wanted to just hide and crawl in a shell when other people came around because they were different. Their temperaments were different. But being a born-again Christian will help you react in a way to more frequently respond the way you should. There are 3 things that I wanted to talk about. Will my basic temperament change? No. You're stuck with it forever. However, a situation may require that to behave not naturally the way you would want to behave, that you have to learn, do a little bit of changing. Lord has to work on you. Lord has to help you because you may want to punch somebody when you know that's not right. That's not what you're supposed to do. So don't explode, relax, take it easy. But being a born-again Christian is going to help you to more frequently act the way you're supposed to. Displaying your temperament strengths and not the weaknesses. Next week, I'm going to have a bunch of charts I'm going to throw up on the screen where it's going to give the tendencies and the bad part, the weaknesses of the temperaments. Number 3, is there a best profile temperament? Yes, mine. Sure, that's right. Everybody should be a beaver. No, actually, no, that's not the answer. It is not a matter of best, it's a matter of different. We are different, and what we're given, what we're born with, that God has placed inside of us, it doesn't matter what the temperament is that you have. What matters is what you do with what you have. That's what makes the difference. No matter what your temperament is, you can achieve as much success as you desire, and your nature and your natural abilities will allow you to. If you want to be the greatest runner in the world and you're born with one leg about an inch shorter than the other, you're probably not going to be the greatest runner in the world. You may run around the field a little bit, but that's a natural ability that isn't going to change in that case. In becoming successful, however, your behavior will represent your basic temperament. For your temperament and personalities, are they the same? No. There are many factors that make up a total personality of a person. Temperament is only one of the many parts. Can your temperament be a leader or a manager? Because you think of lions. Lions are a born leader. That's what they're good at. Deb is a lion. She leads from a desk in her office. So you don't hear much from her, but she is a lion and she's there. Lions and otters lead by inspiration. Pastor Tom will come up here and he'll give you a big pep talk, and he's inspiring you to do this or do that. That's what an otter does. And that's what a lion does. When a lion wants the team to get some work done, the lion will be able to do that by inspiring them. Now, golden retrievers, my wife and Pastor Sheldon, and beavers will lead by example. I was a school teacher and I taught students how to use machines, how to do mechanical drawing, how to use a computer and some design some houses and stuff like that on a computer. And I always said, okay, everybody over here, come on around. And I would do something with my hands and explain what I was doing all the time. And I did by example, which went with my personality. Of course, I didn't know this when I started teaching. I didn't know I was a beaver. But anyway, that's how the beaver and the golden retriever do it, by example. Fundamental concepts, this is, I'm laying groundwork tonight. Fundamental concepts that influence our temperament. Everyone has the traits of all four temperaments. You're part lion, you're part beaver, you're part otter, and you're part golden retriever. You may only be a little bit of this one, a little bit of this one, but you're a real lot of this one, and maybe a medium of the other one. So everyone has common two temperaments, one primary and one secondary. My primary is beaver, my secondary is golden retriever. That's a good thing, because as a beaver, I'm hard to get along with as it is, and it's because I have a golden retriever wife, and if I didn't have a lot of golden retriever in me, it'd be making it a lot harder. And some days she wants to brain me anyway. Some temperaments have natural strengths and weaknesses. Every one of them does. And I'll show them next week. And we want to emphasize the strengths, put down the weaknesses. Strengths and weaknesses will apply to both of those. So your primary has weaknesses, and so does your secondary. So you have to work on both of those. Traits can be developed because everything is a choice. Because there are some people that say, well, I'm a lion. I'm always going to be a lion. Get over it. That's not the way it is in the body of Christ. You may be a lion, but we have a chance to follow that natural tendency and hurt a lot of people, but we choose a choice, a path to take, the right thing to do, the wrong things to not do, and we want to control the natural weaknesses and elevate the good strengths. Next, temperaments develop according to environment. Being a school teacher for a lot of years, I would have kids come in to my class, and in my kind of a class, after I taught them something, I say, okay, go to work. And then I walked around and help Johnny, help Mary over here, and Fred over there, and check, see how they were doing, seeing their progress, seeing if they had any questions and how things were going with what they were doing, if they were designing a room on a computer or whatever. And I used to pay attention to how the kids reacted, how they acted in class with other kids. And a lot of times I looked at them and I go, I can tell what their mom and dad are like by the way that they acted and reacted with each other. Some were loud, some were nice and quiet, some were calm. But they picked that environmentally up from their parents, and then they displayed it many times. Early home environment is a big thing with our temperaments. We need consistent love, discipline, and praise. We do not need to be compared, condemned, and criticized. If you condemn, compare, and criticize, why can't you be like Johnny? Don't ever say that to your children. If you do, quit it from now on. Don't ever do it again. That causes resentment, and that causes that child to feel like they won't ever match up to Johnny. So try not to do that, which often has an adverse effect on the development, healthy self-image of that child. Next is the peers. Who do your kids run around with? Or who do you run around with? Who are your peers? Those we associate with have a strong influence upon the development of our beliefs and value system. And as Christians, we definitely know that. Where you were reared. Geographically, oh boy, I'm hurt. Geographical location in the United States, foreign country, or wherever influences. I'm going to hurry up on this. Where you were reared. Each decade seems to have a unique set of issues that exert strong influence in our lives. I grew up in my years where I was influenced by a lot of things in the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. Compare that now to 2010 to 2025. Totally different. So many things happening right now that changes the way we grew up and what goes on in our head. Education, not just the amount of education, but what school you attend. Educational institutions differ widely in belief and value. That's very unfortunate. Groups, in general, beliefs and values are developed from association with schools, churches, and clubs. Praise God, you're in this church and your children. I walked down the hall tonight. I saw a mother coming with her little child, and I asked her, I said, do you like coming to church? Do you like, and she was all excited. She couldn't wait to get to her class. That's very important. Gender, male and females are motivated by different needs. Well, I want to give you a first little chart I want to throw up on the screen. All right, in the green, up at the top and at the bottom. A lion and a beaver are task-oriented. It's doing things with their hands, with their body, task. Everything is a task. Down below, the otter and the golden retriever, it's people-focused. Big difference. They're worried about and concerned about people. The other two are worrying about a task or getting a job done. Also, the blue. The lion and the beaver are cold side of love. And those golden retrievers and Pastor Tom and my wife and Pastor Sheldon, they're all the fuzzy, wuzzy, lovey ones. Because they got that warm side of them. Where us, me and the lions, let's get this job done. All right. Also, introvert and extrovert. You see them there. I don't consider myself an introvert. When I told my wife we were introverts, she goes, "I'm not an introvert." I said, "Well, this is what the experts say. I'm just repeating." So, and the reason I say that is because remember, you have two parts of the temperaments that you're dealing with all the time. And because you are, I happen to be a golden retriever as my second temperament. And well, still it says we're introverts, but at least I have a little bit of warmth in me. And Deb, she's cold as could be up there, that lion. And her husband's warm. I don't know what their problem is, jeez. But it says that they're both extroverts, so now that helps, especially if you're a pastor in a church and you're the head pastor. All right, next we're going to turn to the next sheet. The next sheet is what you're going to receive. That's your personal strength survey. Lion, beaver, otter, golden retriever. There are 7 words, 2 columns of them, 14 words total. And what you're supposed to do on this sheet is circle whatever traits, say like the beaver over there, it says discerning up the top there on the right. If you're discerning consistently in your life, then you circle it. If, oh, I just did that once, nope, that doesn't count then. It has to be consistent. If you're a lion and you're very assertive, then you would circle that. And because you're always assertive. You get the point? That's what you're going to do. You're going to circle them. And after you circle, say you circle, in my case, I circled everything under beaver, every one of them. And so that was 14. And then it says double the number circled. So I got, what's 14 and 14? Math? Oh, 28. 28, okay, is my number there. And 18 is my number. I have it on my next page. 18 down there. And the lion, otter, whatever. You figure them out, you write them down. Then we're going to go to the charts. All right. There we go. The one that he had up there real quickly, it was the lion was 24, the beaver was 22. And believe me, I'll tell you, if you're a woman and you married a lion that's a 24 and a beaver that's 22, I don't know, you're going to have your hair pulled out in one week after you're married. Because to live with the 2 of those, that's going to be rough, real rough. Anyway, but okay, let's take a look at those graphs. All right, that one there that was 24, 22, 10, 14. I did the chart on there in the red. But the other 3, that's a married couple. The green was, we'll say the husband, orange was the wife. The one down below, I don't care what color was who, whatever. But you can see that that's how you do this. When you take this home, the husband's, whatever his numbers are, you put the dots on and then you connect the dots and you end up with a chart that looks something similar to that. And then next week, when you come back, bring the results with you. I'll be asking you to either stand up or raise your hand because I'm going to find out who you married and I'll know who to shoot and who to congratulate. But anyway, we'll work it out next week when you get the results, and then I'll be able to go into some of the traits of these different animals in your house. And if you want to work with your children also, you can copy that graph and make a phony one down there. I'm almost ready to quit. Otherwise, Pastor Tom's going to come up and drag me off the platform. So next time, we're going to go over those charts. And I have a lot of things that I could show you. I'm going to show you the lion and the lion's emotional strengths and weaknesses, his or her work habits, and their friends. And I'll do the same thing with all of these, but I am going to skim over them very fast. We don't have time to go over all of that, but I'll flash them on the screen. You can take a picture of them if you want to, or you can look at the video again and memorize them and freeze your screen so you can check it out. But that's all the time we have for tonight.